Hey, thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about why people think investing is too risky and why I think it's too risky not to invest. Namely, retirement. A lot of people don't like to think about death. A lot of people don't like to think about getting old. Both are going to happen. So you should start planning for them now so you can do them more comfortably and make life easier on your family. So hopefully you take something away from this whole retirement talk and why investing is good and how you should start investing to set up for your retirement. Again, Darius Lester, thanks for watching. Also, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Comment on this video because whoever's first comment is lined up on here, it will be displayed somewhere over here dancing just to show some appreciation for getting in the comments. I know you didn't have to, but thank you for doing so. All right, y'all have a good one.
Doing numbers like I'm MJ and Dash Jackson and Jordan. Boy, I'm killing y'all boring. Time to give the world what they really need. That's the H-O-M-I-E.
Evening Tribe. This is Darius Lester, and this will be Mammoth Money Mondays. I think this is my third time doing this. Yep, and I'll be releasing these at night, and it might even be the morning of Tuesday, but I'm still calling it Monday because that's technically when I'm recording this. So just to get into it, you see I already got my screen up. We're going to talk about investing. The reason a lot of people don't invest is because they believe it might be too risky. They don't want to lose their money, which I get that. I don't want to lose my money. But something that I think people don't think about is what would happen if they don't invest. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Is investing too risky, or is it too risky not to invest? Alrighty. So first off, just a couple stats about retirement in America, United States of America. Get it? Anyways, so only 10% of Americans retire between 62 and 70 are financially stable, right? 10% between 62 and 70 are financially stable. Think about your grandparents. Think about how they're living their lives. Are they real comfy? They don't got no worry in the world? Or are they living in the projects, kind of getting by? Do they need their other family members to send them money often to take care of them? What's their financial situation? I believe that because we're younger, it's comfortable not to think about death, and it's comfortable not to think about when we're old. But I challenge you to think about it because the things you do now are going to affect how you live your life when you are old. 60% worry they won't have enough money to support themselves in retirement. That's a real thing. And then nearly half Americans aged 55 to 64 believe their retirement savings are not on track, highlighting a significant gap in retirement preparedness for many individuals. So basically, even if they were putting money away, when they get up to that age where it's like, oh, it's game time to start using this money so I don't have to actually go to work every single day anymore, they don't believe that there's enough money there to sustain them for the rest of their years, however many years that may be. So 80% income equals comfy retirement. According to most retirement experts, a 60-year-old should plan to spend around 80% of their pre-retirement income. So basically, if you're making $80,000 a year right now and you live comfortably, right, you enjoy that, then when you're retired, old man, old woman, old person status, you should estimate that you'll need about $64,000 every single year to maintain a similar lifestyle. So right now, think about it. Do you have enough money to where when you retire, you can have, you'll have 80% of how much you're making right now? Like, do you think you're on track to have that much saved up? Maybe. Yes. No. Think about it. So average savings by age, right? I believe this was, okay, yeah, this is from 2019. Something else I saw, something about 2022, but it's fine. You get it. So basically, here's the averages and the medians. And I think it's super important to point out averages. Like, think about this with any time you look up anything about money. I almost never look at averages anymore because you see how great this distance is between the average and the median. Just so you know, the average is, you take 10 people, you add up all theirs, and you divide it by 10. That's the average. The median actually focuses on how many people. So basically something that happens with some of these averages. If one person saves up $100 million and everybody else, saved up like $10,000, it's gonna look like everybody's saving up, a million plus dollars. But that's not the case. Just one person over excelled and bring the average up. But medians don't show that. They'll show where the majority of people lie. So in these charts, it's saying that majority of the people are at this $3,240 dollars when they're at 35, so on and so forth. So over here, back in this retirement area, we're looking at majority of people have 5,000, 8,000, maybe 9,000 when they're 75. Like that's how much savings they have. This average is taking into account all the super millionaires, all the trust fund babies, all the tech inventors, just all the people who are hyperinflating the average. So definitely go off of the median, not the average, when you are trying to scale these kinds of things. So now you're probably wondering, how much do I need to retire? So, we talked about you could just have the money saved, right? I don't know, if you turn 60 and you have, I don't know what, if you have $800,000 saved. Oh shoot, that's still not even enough, right? Yeah, if you had 800,000, you'd have 80,000. Yep, for 10 years. So if you're only going to live for 10 more years and you had $800,000 saved, cool. You got $80,000 every year for the next 10 years. Enjoy. If you live longer than that, you might need to go get a job at Walmart or something. But besides saving, another way to work out this retirement thing is through your investments, right? So this, I just kind of typed this up. Hopefully all the math is right. But basically, I'm showing that if you took all the money that you had in your retirement account or whatever you work on through investing and all this stuff over the years, and when you're ready to retire, you put that money, if you decide to put it all into a savings account, you're going to get between 2 and 4%. So these numbers are showing the 2%, 4% is double that. So you can just double it to estimate that. So let's say you had $500,000, in your savings when you're ready to retire. If you're earning 2% on that every single year, you would get $10,000. Like that's how much it would grow a year. So if you took out $10,000 the next year, you'd still have $500,000 in there. So you could just keep rotating that 10,000. If you had 2 million, you'd have $40,000 in there every year. If you had $6 million, you'd have $120,000 every year that you could just take out, and you'd still have 6 million in there every single year. And if you had in a savings account that gave you 4%, it'd just be doubled. So, this would be 240, this would be 80. I'm sure you guys can do times 2 math. All right. And then investing, right? It's a little higher, but I'm still just sticking between like 6 and 12 because that's generally what you're looking at for your S&P 500s, your index funds, stuff like that. You're not going crazy. Maybe you got your stuff in mutual funds. You're looking at like 6 between 12, and then same thing. I'm doing these numbers based off of the 6%, but you can just double them and that'll give you the number for 12. So if you kept $500,000 invested, and you were making 6% on it annually, you'd be pulling in $30,000 a year. You can live off of 30, keep it in there, you'd still have 500. Obviously, you can take out more than 30, but then you'd start to adjust this base number. And if you adjust the base numbers, that means the following year, you wouldn't get 30 again, you get a smaller number. So that's the reason I'm just saying, if you're taking this exact number, just to keep our base number the same. But if you are investing, if you get up to 2 million and you just keep investing in just really, really, really safe, non-crazy stuff, you could easily pull in $120,000 a year, and you could just keep rotating that. And then if you had 6 million, you see the number, 360,000. Hopefully that all makes sense to you. This is why investing is important, because the sooner you start, the quicker you can get to these numbers. Maybe I should have put a chart on here to show how to get to these large numbers through investing. That'd have made sense. A great book for my military people is the Military Money Manual, Practical Guide to Financial Freedom. Basically, this book is from the perspective of an officer, but it applies to all military people. And he basically breaks down ways that you can start saving up your money now, investing in TSP, things like that, to where when you're ready to actually retire, you'll be good and you'll have enough money to be financially free. And you should get there way before 60 if you follow the steps in this book. So that is pretty much it. I actually will show you guys one more thing since I just thought about it. Let's see if I can switch this. Do that. Alrighty, boom. So hopefully you can see this. Oops. So this is my favorite website, investor.gov, and you go to the compounding interest calculator. Very quickly, I will just show you. Well, heck, you know what? So I was actually doing this for my daughter, right? So my daughter is 3 weeks old. So if I decide to invest $300 for her, right? 300 is my initial. Every month, I'm going to put 300 more in there, and I'm doing this for 18 years. It's being invested, so we're going to estimate that I'm going to make a 10% annual return on it and calculate that. So basically, this chart shows me that I have 18 years of just investing $300 every single month. She will have $165,000, in this account. If it does 12%, she would have 200,000. If it did 8%, then she would have 136. All enough to get her through college. That's why I'm doing it. Now, let's talk about you. Let's say you save 300, right? We're going to change this because let's say you started at, I don't know, let's say you started at 25, right? You're 25 years old. So how many? 35? 35 gets you to 60. Let's go to, whatever. 60. We'll just keep all this the same. Alrighty. So if you are 25 and you start investing $300 like I'm doing for my daughter, and you just keep doing that all the way up until you are 60, you will end up having $984,000 in your retirement account, right? And that's just if it did middle of the road. If it does really well, just decently well, not even really well. If it does decently well, then you could have $1.5 million. And if it does bad, you would have $624,000. All still decent amounts of money. And I think this is worth saying because this is only $300. Any of the raises, any of the you changing jobs, all those things, I guarantee you've had a $300 pay bump. So basically, if you just take one of those times and you just keep living the way that you were living instead of starting to spend that extra $300 that you're making every month, you decided to put that into an investment account. In this case, hopefully it was a retirement account so that it's protected from taxes. Then you too could pretty much be a millionaire just by saving this much money over the next 35 years. Obviously, maybe if you're a little older, you might want to save more money. So let's say that, you're in your 30s, right? If you're in your 30s, now you have, what's that? 30 takes you there. Boom. So now if you're in 30s, 600, you need to be saving $600 in your retired investment account over the next 30 years to ensure that you hit that $1 million mark. And as we saw on the last page, $1 million, if you keep investing it, then that $1 million would turn into, how much did we say? About 60? About 60, about 60 up to $120,000 a year. You can make off of that $1 million if you keep it invested in like a riskier thing. If you do something more conservative, you'd be looking at about $60,000 a year, which is still very decent money. Alrighty, so I will not yap anymore on this subject. Hopefully something in here was helpful to you. Again, my name is Darius Lester. This is Mammoth Money Mondays. Have a good night.